You're now tuning in to Fatima Bey, the MindShifter. Get ready to shift your thinking and turn it into success.
Hello, and thank you for listening. Today's message is entitled, No for Your Yes. Now, let's just say, just follow me for a moment. Let's just say you're taking a trip, and we are going from New York to Florida, and we're going to be laying on the beach all day long and just relaxing, because that's our trip, okay? That's our goal. That's our destination. Now, what are you going to pack in your suitcase? In this situation, you can only bring one suitcase. So, my guess is you're not going to fill that suitcase with snowsuits and ski gear and a hat and a gloves. You're going to fill your suitcase with things that are suitable for your destination. So you're going to fill your suitcase with it. Towels, sunscreen, bathing suit, sandals, etc., etc. Now, why are you going to do that? Well, you're going to pack for your destination. You're not going to pack for where you're not going. Guess what happens if you fill your suitcase full of snow gear? You'll have no room for the things that you actually need for where you're going. And this is an analogy that is also true in life. Quite often, we say yes to things that we should be saying no to. They fill up our time, they fill up our space, they take our energy, and then we have no room for the actual things we should be doing. Let me break it down a little further and what I mean by that. Some of you are already thinking, oh yeah, of things in your life that this applies to. But I'm talking about some specific ones that I see people doing. So, if you know what you're supposed to be doing in life, or you have a goal to reach, why are you doing things that aren't helping you get there? We only have 24 hours in a day. That is something that we all have equally, 24 hours a day. As long as you are living, we have 24 hours a day. How are you spending those hours? Are you volunteering for things that you need not be volunteering for? Now, sidebar to that, I just want to also say, I believe very, very strongly in volunteering. We should all be volunteering at something. Now, what that something is going to be different for each of us. But I think volunteering is very important and really valuable part of life. So volunteer with something that matters to you. Now, back to what I was saying. Very often, I see that people will say yes to just about anything they're asked to do. That's a mistake. We should say yes to some things, but we should say no to some things. The difference is it going to take you away? Is your yes, your friendly yes that you just stated because you feel pressured to say yes, is that activity going to take you away from what you should be doing? If the answer is yes to that, then your answer should be no. Quite often, people will complain, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm so tired. And we do have to work hard in life. I know I do. And I'm always busy. But busy with what? Are you busy doing things that you should be saying no to? Are you busy doing things that aren't helping you reach your goal? Are you busy doing things that are taking up time and energy so that by the time you get to what you need to do, you have none left? Some of you need to prioritize properly when responding to requests. I see it when people all the time, and some of you are well-intended, and people ask you to do things, and sometimes they're nice things, but a good thing is not always good for you. Just because something is good doesn't mean that it's good for you or that you should be doing it. I know a local airport around here that they have volunteers who put together, you know, old airplanes and fix them, and they do all kinds of things, kind of like you would with an old car. And they have volunteers that help them do that, and it's great. And they have a museum locally, and it's great that they have volunteers to help them do that. I shouldn't be over there volunteering. First of all, I don't know nothing about airplanes or airplane mechanic. But even if I did and I wanted to learn, that's not my calling. That's not my area. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing. So if I was over there volunteering right now, I wouldn't be recording this radio segment. I wouldn't have time. That's just a little small analogy. A small example, rather. What are you saying yes to that you should say no to? Let's talk about some other things. Volunteering is one of them. Are you saying yes to a ministry at your church that you know you're not called to? I'll say that again. Are you saying yes to a ministry at church because someone asked you to, but you know that's not your calling? You should say no. Does it mean that there's something wrong with them asking you? Does it mean that there's something wrong with the ministry? It means that it's not for you. You need to say no to make room for your yes. Because while you're spending time on the ushers board, you are not spending time over with the intercessory prayer group where you belong. That's just another example. Are you saying yes where you should be saying no? Now, I also want to say I don't want you all to take this and go, well, I should just say no to everything and just sit on the couch and eat bonbons and do what I want. That's not what I'm saying either. I'm saying say no to make room for your yes, for your real yes. Another example. Someone asks you out on a date. You're so lonely that you say yes. Meanwhile, you begin to date this person who you know is not really right for you. And the person who is right for you comes along. But you are unavailable, so they move on. I know I just stepped on some toes and got real touchy right there, but it's the truth. How often do we do that? We get into these relationships that we got no business getting into, and they just take you away from the calling in your life, the focus in your life, or from being there for someone who's actually compatible to you. Because sometimes we think just because a person is nice that we should date them. That is so foolish. That is incredibly foolish. If you're going to date someone, make sure that they're an actual match for you. Just because they're nice doesn't mean they're a match for you. I get along with most of my exes. I still talk to them. We're great friends. But some of them were not matches for me. And that's why they're an ex. Not because they're a bad person, or they're evil, or they treated me wrong. Sometimes they could treat you really well. But it really does matter that they're a match for you. Because your future is being affected by who's around you right now. And you dating someone, that's a partnership that's affecting your future. You better make sure that it's helping you head in the right direction and not a hindrance from the calling on your life. And I know I'm talking to somebody right now. And some of you are like, yes, I've experienced that. And some of you are in it right now. Listen to me. Sometimes you need to say no to make room for your yes. So I ask all of you, what is it that you are saying yes to right now? I want you to examine your life and say, what am I saying yes to right now? Am I taking on too many projects and not giving enough room for the project I need to be focused on? I have a lot that I plan on doing in life. For me personally, I have a whole whole lot. You guys haven't even begun to see the things I'm going to do while I'm on this earth. But I'm also aware, I have learned, I cannot do them all at once. So some things are on the back burner for now so that I can focus on the certain things that I need to do now. And when I'm done with my season with where I am now, I will move on to the next thing and bring it off the back burner. And that's okay. What that is called is wisdom and planning. And some of you are well-intended, but you're being foolish with everything you say yes to. I can't tell you how many times, I don't even know how many things I've said no to in recent years. Speaking engagements, things that might seem like good opportunities, I've said no to. And it's not because of the people that asked me were bad or that what they wanted me to do was bad. Not at all. Some people were great and their organizations are great. But I also know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what my calling is and what will fit into it and what won't. And those things that are not for me right now, I just say no to. And some of you need to learn how to follow suit. You don't have room for the things that you should be doing because you're saying yes to too many things. Your child is doing an activity, a sport that is taking up all their time and yours, and you know that the sport is not them. Now, for some of you who have children in sports, this will apply to you, and for some of you, it doesn't. So, as I like to say, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. I'm just using it as an example. Your child is supposed to be one of the greatest, musicians on the planet, but you have them too busy forcing them into gymnastics, forcing them into the math club, whatever the activity is. But they're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing because they're too busy spending their time on something that they shouldn't. If that's you, I want you to examine your life today. Even if you think it's not you, examine your life today and ask yourself, what am I saying yes to? What am I giving my time and energy to that's not helping me reach my destiny? And if you don't have a destination, that's part of the problem. You got to work on that first. Figure out what your destination is. What is it that you are trying to achieve or accomplish? And more importantly, what's the calling on your life? That's a whole nother segment, but figure that out first. Once you figure that out, then you can look at everything else and say, and what I'm doing right now, is this helping me? Now, I don't mean that you should never hang out with your friends. You should never go dancing. You should never do fun things. You should always do those things because we all need a break. And having a break here and there is a part of your destiny too, because you need to have balance. So there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. But if you're spending 90% of your free time doing that, then that is a problem. If it's not, if it's not a part of your destiny. If you know you need to be studying something, you need to be doing something to get to whatever that destination is, whatever that thing is for you, hanging out with your friends ain't going to get you there. Hanging out with your friends will give you some balance, but the balance part is doing it here and there, not doing it 90% of your free time. And I know I'm talking to many of you when I say that. You want to have some balance with it all. So again, what are you saying yes to that you should be saying no to? Just like with that suitcase that I started off talking about. If you pack it with those things that you don't need, you have no room for the things that you actually need. Make room in your life for the things that you really need. You don't have to do everything. You are not a superhero. You don't have superpowers that you don't have to pretend like you do. Now, I am saying that because that was me. I had to learn that for myself. I had to learn that I'm really not actually a superwoman. I don't have superpowers. I have 24 hours a day just like every other human being. So I had to decide what I will and won't give my time and energy to. And you should too. And again, I hope that you take this message and you really examine your life and see what you need to rearrange so that you can put all of your time and energy into the things that you should be saying yes to. Again, I'm Fatima Bey, the MindShifter, and I thank you for listening. Have a good day.
Tune in next week for another segment of Fatima Bey, the MindShifter. For more of her teachings, subscribe to her YouTube channel at Fatima Bey, the MindShifter.